Taiwan has released videos of its Hsiung Feng series of anti-ship missiles, AShM, being fired and hitting target vessels in a signal to China of its capabilities and intent to use force on People's Liberation Army Navy (PLAN) warships. The Taiwanese military practice drills come when China performs an unprecedentedly large carrier group exercise. The Hsiung Feng Yu and Ai missiles are the Republic of China, ROTC, Navy's most advanced and the mainstay of their anti-shipping arsenal. Pictures show 3 holes punched in the retired warship by the HFUE, Ai, and a US-made Harpoon AShM. This showcases military preparedness, quite unusual for Taipei, though it has been consistently upgunning its military while receiving a steady arms supply from Washington. Taiwan's Ministry of National Defense, MND, announced hiking production of its homegrown AShM platforms, according to a report in the Taipei Times, which includes the HFII, an extended-range variant of the HFII. China's massive drills, meanwhile, come close on the heels of the United States, conducting a series of military exercises across the region in recent weeks with Japan, Australia, and the Philippines. The American and Canadian navies sailed ships through the Taiwan Strait on Saturday. Japanese and Taiwanese militaries observed guided missile destroyers, frigates, supply ships, and fleet replenishment tankers. The latter's Ministry of National Defense, MND, also identified 68 warplanes near Taiwanese airspace on September 14, some of which joined the exercises. Aircraft were also spotted operating off the Shandong aircraft carrier. The Taiwanese Defense Ministry tracked 35 Chinese warplanes, including J-10 fighters, around the island early that day. About 28 flew into the southwestern corner of the island's Air Defense Identification Zone, ADIZ. In the intervening hours of the last 2 days, social media posts observed the People's Liberation Army, Navy PLAN, Type 055 destroyer Yannon, Type 052D destroyer Hefei, and a submarine attached to the Southern Theater Command sail into the South China Sea, SCCS, during a coordinated offensive and defensive training drill in a real combat environment. By September 14 afternoon, Taiwan's MND had announced detecting 18 sorties of Chinese Communist Party's CCP, J-10 and drones, and other types of ships going out to sea. "13 of them crossed Taiwan's central or median line, entered its southwest airspace, and cooperated with surface ships while conducting joint sea and air training." It also released a video showing the ROTCN's Cheng Ho frigate monitoring the plan's 052 Sea destroyer Jinan. The MND released another image of the ROTCN destroyer Ki Lung, monitoring the PLAN carrier Shandong in the waters east of Taiwan. Eurasian Times has touched upon how PLA exercises around the island became markedly comprehensive, specifically following former U.S. Speaker Nancy Pelosi's visit in August 2022. The retaliatory live-fire drills at 6 spots around the island following Pelosi's visit saw several operational firsts. This included launching missiles over the island into its eastern seaboard, flying drones around the entire island, and employing the J-20 stealth fighter for the first time. For the last few months, it has also held naval drills off the island's east, unlike previous instances where drills were only held off Taiwan's western coast. Taiwan, therefore, based its defensive plans and operations on retreating to the east, close to the mountains, and fighting off a Chinese invasion by storing its ammunition and the bulk of the fighting forces in the mountainous terrain. Naturally, it would have also envisaged receiving supplies logistics on the eastern coast from U.S. and Allied forces to fight off the Chinese, who would have amassed on the western coast and lands. Plan, now exercising even in the east, has upturned that strategy as it can fully surround the island and enforce a blockade, presenting a fait accompli of an eventual creeping amphibious land invasion to the defending Taiwanese. In theory, Taipei should surrender and officially accede to the mainland, as the bloodless military takeover also suits Beijing's other economic and diplomatic calculations. Meanwhile, the National Chongshan Institute of Science and Technology, NCSIST, video shows road mobile launchers carrying the HFEE and HFII missiles. The Harpoon is shown being fired from a naval warship and the land launcher. It is unclear if two Harpoons were fired or if the one fired from the warships was a previous launch made part of this publicity material. Footage of an overhead drone with a targeting reticule captures the Harpoon hitting the rear and the HFEE and HFII striking the middle sections.